gentlemen, thank you. Our distinguished guests and Toastmasters, welcome to Empire Toastmasters. Empire Toastmaster established in Surabaya since 2010, and we already have a lot of members that actually capable in both leadership and public speaking. Before we start the meeting, let me tell you about our house rules for today. First things first, please mute yourself and your microphone when you are not the one who's talking or you are not the speaker. Second, please use our chat box if you want to have chit chat with the others and you want to ask something. Also, we would love to invite you to use the reaction or Zoom emotion to express your appreciation towards our speaker. And last but not least, we are love to have you all turn on your video until the end of the meeting. I think that's enough from me. I'm the SAA Yana from Empire Toastmasters. It's time for me to give the control to our Mr. President to give his opening remarks. Michael Iskandar, the time is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Yana. Welcome back to our channel, guys, to Empire Toastmasters, where leaders are made. Tonight, we're going to have a fantastic education session together with Toastmaster Fursey, the finalist of World Championship Public Speaking 2022. Fantastic. Not forget also, we're going to have another speeches also, and not forget table topics that might give you an idea on how to improve your public speaking in the future, hopefully. So, what are we waiting for? Let's begin our meeting. Please give it up to our Toastmaster of the meeting, Toastmaster Alvin.
All right, thank you, Mr. President, Toastmaster Michael, and hello and happy morning, everyone. Welcome to Empire Toastmasters. Yes, as our president said, we will have an exciting meeting tonight. And our introduction, our theme for today is networking. Talking about networking, I've read from Robert Kiyosaki book, one of the famous book writer. He said that one of the most powerful asset is networking. I agree with him because networking can help you in most of everything. Like this session right now, because of networking, we can meet together and sharing. And also, if you are sick and you have a friend that is doctor, you can ask from him advice or anything. And one more thing, if you still single and you have a lot of friends, just tap. There you go. That is the benefit of networking. We will talk about it more in our educational session as well. And our word of the day is relationship. We'll explain more by our grammarian later on. And this is our brief agenda for today. Yeah, very, very big agenda. We have prepared speech, 5 to 7 minutes, will be by distinguished Toastmaster Ravi. And on the second, we will have educational session by Fursey Gotuaco. He is a 3-time district champion, winning in District 25 and 85. Wow. And he is also a semi-finalist in 2020, finalist on 2022, and 2020's District 25 Toastmaster of the Year. Yay. And the third session is table topic session, open for everybody. I repeat, open for everybody. Literally, everybody can just jump in, raise your hand, shout your name, and you will benefit a lot from being in table topic session. And last but not least is our evaluation session. Of course, this is a session for you to improve. Will be 2 to 3 minutes by distinguished Toastmaster Harlina to evaluate distinguished Toastmaster Ravindran and Toastmaster Anna Mailana to evaluate Toastmaster Koyum. Now, before move on, I will like to introduce our GE team, who will later introduce their team. Our GE is, I would like to call our GE Toastmaster Rani from Maranatha Toastmasters. Over to you, Toastmaster Rani.
Okay, thank you so much, our Mr. Tom. So good evening, fellow Toastmaster and also guests. So my name is Rani from Maranatha Toastmaster, and tonight I will be your general evaluator. So as the general evaluator, it is my responsibility to evaluate everything that happens during the meeting from the beginning to the end of the meeting. And by observing this meeting, I won't be alone because I will be helped by my team members that will be consist of our timer, a counter, grammarian, and also our ballot counter. So before we start, I think I will like to call our poll takers one by one to please introduce themselves and also their role. So for the first poll takers, I will call upon Toastmaster Arnie. So Toastmaster Arnie.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Madam G. Toastmaster Rani. Good evening, everyone. I'm Arnie and I will be your timer this night. We have 4 sessions as mentioned by our Tom. First session, feedback speech session. For speaker have standard time 5 to 7 minutes. I will turn my screen green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7 minutes. For table topic session, every speaker has 1 to 2 minutes. 1 minute green, 1.5 minutes yellow, and 2 minutes red. For distinguished Toastmaster first session, I will turn my screen green at 13 minutes, yellow at 17 minutes, and red at 20 minutes. For evaluation session, both evaluators have 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes green, 2.5 minutes yellow, 3 minutes red, and every speaker has extra 30 seconds time for their speech. Please pay attention to my screen because time is important. Back to you, Toastmaster Rani.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arnie, for your explanation. Now we will move on to the second role taker. It's our counter, which is our Mr. President, Toastmaster Michael. Toastmaster Michael, please introduce your role.
Thank you, Madam GE. Hello, everyone. I'm Mr. President. As you know me already, my duty as a counter is to count every single post filler that you do in your speech. What is post filler? It's the filler words such as repetition words, something like that. Remember, guys, the purpose of an R counter is not to give you hard time during your speech, however, to be better for your next speech. At the end of this meeting, I will give you the report about my findings as an R counter. Back to you, Madam G.
Thank you, Mr. President. So next, I will call upon our grammarian. It's Toastmaster Angela. Toastmaster Angela, please introduce yourself and explain your role.
Thank you very much, Madam GE. My job as grammarian is to give you the word of the day, which you can see in my background, I hope. It's coordinate. So let us coordinate our watches. It's a doing word to coordinate, put in order or harmonize. It's also a noun, coordination, good or bad coordination. The negative is uncoordinated. And my job is, first of all, to note when you use the word of the day. Secondly, to note your amusing or excellent uses of the English language. And thirdly, to give you tips on how to improve things. And I'll be speaking in the chat box, either individually or to everybody as we go through the meeting to help you with your pronunciation and any things I think you'd like to know while the meeting is still going. Thank you. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. But I would like to confirm here that our WOD for tonight is supposed to be relationship, isn't it? as it's written in the agenda?
I believe the latest agenda is coordinate is the WOD.
I see. Okay, so I would just like to remind all the participants and that our latest WOD is coordinate. So let's use coordinate as much as we can in our speech. Last but not least, I will call upon our ballot counter, Toastmaster Apri from Malang Toastmaster Club. Toastmaster Apri, please introduce yourself and your.
Okay, thank you, our general evaluator, and hello everyone. Good afternoon. And my job as ballot counter is to facilitate or coordinate vote for the most favorite speaker, double topic, and also evaluator. To facilitate voting, I will give you a link in the chat box later, so you can start to vote for your most favorite speaker for tonight. And also, I will announce the winner in the awarding session. I think that's all for my introduction. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Apri. So yes, beside all those technical evaluator, we will also have two evaluator for our prepared speech speaker, which is Toastmaster Anna and also distinguished Toastmaster Hairlina. I believe they will be introduced later during the prepared speech section. So now I will give the control back to our Toastmaster of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Afin.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rani, our GE, and the team. So I would like to confirm once again, our word of the day will be coordinate, as explained by our grammarian. And here we come, our first session, which is prepare speech session. Yay! Are you ready, guys? Okay, we will have two speakers for tonight, and both of them will deliver project level 1, project 2, which is introduction to vocal variety and body language. Wow, interesting, isn't it? And the first speaker, we will have distinguished Toastmaster Ravindran Subramaniam from Kota Kinabalu Toastmaster Club. He is a lifelong member of the Kota Kinabalu Toastmaster Club in Sabah, which he founded and chartered way back in 1999. Having served as its charter president for the first 2 years, he considers this to be his home club. He is also a dual member of the Mid Valley Toastmaster Club in Kuala Lumpur. Wow. He is presently working on his second distinguished Toastmaster, this time using the pathways. He is passionate about lifelong learning and improving himself. And to introduce his project and to call the speaker, I would like to call his evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Harlina Indra from Jakarta Bahasa Toastmasters. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Harlina.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alvin. I have here in my notes that the project of distinguished Toastmaster Ravindran Subramaniam is actually connect with storytelling. And the purpose of this project is to practice how to use a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. A story is a wonderful way to connect to the people's heart, to paint a picture in the people's mind, and also to explain something complicated. Time given is 5 to 7 minutes, and the speech title is Stop, Think Again. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Ravindran Subramaniam.
Yes, still muted. Distinguished Toastmaster Ravi.
Do you know of anyone who makes a toast for the dog? My mother used to do that. First thing in the morning, each time she gets into the kitchen. And as if that was not enough, She would lovingly spread sweet orange marmalade onto it and give it to our pet dog, Chico. And Chico would not stop to think, let alone think again. He would just lunge gleefully for the toast. And Ma would say, slowly, Chico, slowly, slowly. Ma was unable to pronounce the word slowly, but she had her own way of communicating love to all. Chico soon began to take things for granted. You may say that it is in his DNA. Well, I too took after Chico very soon. Pray don't tell me that I had Chico's DNA. You see, if I was late out of my room for breakfast, Ma would bring the toast and tea right into my room. Doggone, spoiled rotten it was. But Ma was a smart cookie. Every time she brought in the breakfast, she'll also bring in a list of errands for me to do. But I would invariably neglect to do them. And there was one errand which I failed to do that has taken me down the rabbit hole. It's taught me a very simple but yet profound lesson I would like to share with you. You see, Ma was an investor. Every weekend, she'll give me a long list of numbers for me to go and place the bets at the lotteries. We have that in Malaysia. But me, I would not place the bets, but worse still, will pocket that money and fake it, pretend with Ma as if I bought the numbers. Well, by and large, the numbers never came out, so I was lucky, and this went on month to month to month, and I began to take it for granted. I never stopped to think about it. Until one fine day, Ma barged into my room, not with a breakfast, but clearly excited and over the moon. Dave, we struck first prize. I froze. You know what had happened. I had not bought the numbers. I stood there like the statue without liberty, and Ma looked at me like a rock of Gibraltar, saying, show me the numbers. I meekly said, I had not bought them, Ma. Ma's face turned white, like as if she had just seen the devil in me. I quickly turned a new tune, and I said, no, Ma, the numbers are in the car. Let me go and catch them. I scampered out of the house even before Ma could sense that things are not adding up. I sat down in the car and tried to drive as far away as possible from Ma. But call it Ma's gravitational pull, I kept going around the neighborhood in circles. I had been cheating Ma, and I had been caught red-handed. The chickens had finally come home to roost. I was frantic, I was desperate, I was frenzied. It was only at the traffic lights when I stopped and did not realize the lights had turned green, the lorry at the back gave me a blast of the horn. I jolted myself into position and realized I had to make good the failings at whatever personal cost. I dragged myself to the bank, crawled up to the counter, and withdrew 13,000 ringgit Malaysian out of my own savings account, all hard-earned money, the dregs. I came back home, I gave it to Ma, all brand new notes, smelling all so sweet. You should have seen Ma's face. It lit up like the lights at the stadium being prepared for the night's football match. Ma would grin from year to year. It had been a long time since I saw Ma so happy. Ma slipped away 2 years ago. To say that it was a somber occasion would be an understatement. Even Chico was grieving. I was at a crematorium when they wheeled Ma up to the incinerator. I looked at Ma for the last time. I could not avoid images flashing by that I had been cheating Ma. I cried, I wept even more, but what good is it crying over spilt milk? So here I live now, connecting the dots, having eaten so much salt in my life and come to this stage. If there's one thing that I've learned and that I can share with all of you is, do not ever take anything for granted. Should you come into a situation where you think you're going to take things for granted, stop, think again. Of course, we may say this is not rocket science. This is not quantum physics. This is as simple as ABC. But the irony is I had to go through such a hard lesson to get this message ingrained. And if you think it's a small thing, think of the Titanic on a colossal scale. Sank because they took it for granted. Unsinkable, they said, right? You know the rest of the story. History is littered with so many cases where man had taken things for granted only to give rise to tragic consequences. So I say to you, my friends, do not take this lightly. It affects relationships, safety, health, opportunities, and a whole host of other things. Should you ever come close to taking things for granted, I say stop, think again. Toastmaster of the evening.
Let's give a round of applause to the distinguished Toastmaster Ravi. Wow. Every time you think something for granted, stop, think again. That's a powerful message from distinguished Toastmaster Ravi. I always love the line about the Statue of Liberty. That always make me laugh. I like it so much, distinguished Toastmaster Ravi. Now, let's move to our second speaker. We have our second speaker, Toastmaster Kayum. Toastmaster Kayum is the best brother or abang terbaik from Malaysia. He is a member of Smedley Chapter 1 Toastmaster Club and Toyhan Toastmasters Club. And he is someone also from the future, as his time is 1 hour ahead of Jakarta or Surabaya time. I would like to call his evaluator to introduce the project and the purpose of the project and to call the speaker as well. I would like to call his evaluator, Toastmaster Anna Mailana from Maranatha Toastmaster Club. Over to you, Toastmaster Anna.
Thank you, Master Tom, Toastmasters Alvin. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight, our best brother, Toastmasters Abdul Qayyum, has coordinated this moment to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech. And Qayyum has chosen to be evaluated on the vocal variety for his speech. So help me welcome Toastmasters Abdul Qayyum with his speech, The Urban Farmer. The Urban Farmer, Toastmasters Abdul Qayyum, the stage is yours.
It is this that silent, the moment when I wake up in the early morning. No one talking, no firecrackers, no more celebrations, just windy breeze. Whoosh, whoosh. My friends, that's the experience that I gained from waking up early morning and getting ready for myself to do every day routine that I have. I have been very silent in any Toastmasters meeting, in any sort of other activities that related to Toastmasters, because I am focusing solely to my own personal growth. And that being said, there is some people out there asking me and connecting to me through WhatsApp. Kayum, what happens to you? Have someone in Toastmasters hurt you until you don't want to go back here with us? No, that's not what happened. It's not that way. I really hurting you guys a lot until I've been missing makes you think that I'm hurt. Yes, Kayum, it's been a while. All right then. That's come to a story. What am I doing here today? When I wake up in the early morning, I've done my morning prayer and having a gathering with some of my friends, learn some biblicals, and then going back to my house and started my own personal growth as the urban farmer. You may wonder, what's the difference, Kayo? The farmer and urban farmer. Isn't it just the same thing? Yes, my friend. The only difference is a farmer using a very plain shirt, an urban farmer using a very nice suit. Do you know that when you come into the urban farmer world, you actually can planted a vegetable, planted a tree, and leave it there for a few days, for a few moments, or for a few months, while still wearing a very nice suit. And that, my friends, makes me realize I want to do this thing very, very passionate. I want to make, this is my end goal. I want to make myself to be sufficient from being an urban farmer. Hey, Kyle, can you cook already? Really, Mom? You're going to ask your son that question? I can cook, my friend. I can cook. There's no doubt with that. When I cook a hot water, it's going to boil until no water anymore in it. That's my journey on being an urban farmer. I learned to cook when my mother challenged me with that questions. I learned how to manage salads. I learned how to make my own scrambled eggs. The worst, I learned how to toast my own bread. It doesn't turn well in the first place, my friend. With that, I figure out this journey is hard. It may not for everyone, yet you can try. After a 6-month journey for previous years that I have been this urban farmer, within this month, I realized one thing. Kawan, coba dengar apa jawabnya ketika aku tanya mengapa bapak ibunya telah lama mati ditelan bencana alam ini. While I am singing, doing gardening in my own home, I realized that this job needs some patience. I could not see that when I plant this tree today, it's going to be harvested tomorrow directly. And yes, I do realize that. From that journey, I take my own moment in Toastmasters and say to all my friends, like a farmer, I would like to take a break. With that, my friend, have you take a break today? Back to you, Mr. Toastmasters.
Let's give a round of applause to Toastmaster Kayum. Yay. Wow, hearing to Toastmaster Kayum's speech make me hungry. Cooking scrambled egg. Yeah, he said he can cook, but I don't believe it if Toastmaster Kayum don't send me a scrambled egg to my place. All right, great speech, Toastmaster Kayum. We should be grateful to everybody who dedicate himself to like a farmer, because that is a very essential part for us, right, as a human, to eating, and most of people maybe just focus on educational or medicine, or not everybody passionate in term of farmer. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kayum. May I have our timer report, Toastmaster Arni, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster Alvin. Both speakers are eligible. I put the detail on the chat box. Thank you. Back to you.
Congratulations, all the speakers are eligible to be voted. Please, our ballot counter, Toastmaster Apri, to post the link for voting, please. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Apri. I already see it in the chat box, so please use your vote and vote for your most favorite speaker. Now we move to our main course, educational session. Are you ready, guys? We will have Toastmaster Fursey Gotuaco, the finalist of the World Championship of Public Speaking 2022. He also District 25 Toastmasters of the Year 2020. And please help me welcome Toastmaster Fursey Gotuaco, Toastmasters, your 5G network. Toastmasters, your 5G network. Fursey Gotuaco, screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Evening. Hello, Empire Toastmasters. Think about that. Empire. The Empire. How big can you dream, Empire Toastmasters? How big an empire do you have? I think about the Roman Empire. Now, the Greeks, if you all remember in your history, the Greeks were very smart, great philosophers, great mathematicians, and yet we don't call them an empire, but the Roman Empire, the one that built roads, the one that sprawled across several continents. Just how big an empire have you got? Now, part of what made the Roman Empire so big was their transportation, their communication, which often went on the roads that they built. Communication today helps us grow, but in a very different way. We no longer need a road to drive on. We have an information highway. And on this highway, we have been expanding our road. It went from 1G to 2G to 3G, right? Remember when these were analog roads, analog electronic pathways. You would try to make a phone call across continents. It was crackling and snappy. You'd have to go, hello, hello, it's me. I'm in America. Hello, Ronnie, how are you? Right? I remember calling my grandmother. She was in the Philippines. Right, Abdul? Hello, yes, I accept the charges. Remember that? I don't, maybe Ravindran, are you the only one here who understands me? I accept the charges, right? I accept the charges. Yes, go ahead. We've gone beyond that, haven't we? Those were the old days. Nowadays, we have 4G networks. And some of us, raise your hand if at the top of your phone it says 5G. Who's got 5G? Who's got 5G? You got 5G? Alvin, you got 5G? Alvin's got 5G, right? Right, exactly. Apri, you got 5G? How you counting the ballots, Apri? No? Okay. Hey, listen, 5G, when they are creating the 5G network, Arnie, they're talking about future technology. They're trying to build a highway, not just here, but here and here and here and here and here and there and there. They're trying to prepare for phones we don't even have yet. When's the last time you actually used your phone to make a phone call? Right? We are using our phones for data, lots of data, tons of data, streaming videos, broadband. We are expanding that information highway, going global. This is how I want you to see your empire. I want you to see your empire that sprawls, and it all starts with exactly what we do here at Toastmasters. We have to take advantage of the opportunities we have here at Toastmasters. Let's start with ourselves. 1G. 1. Me. You. 1G. 1G is when we communicate with ourselves. Oh, yes, we do. We just had New Year's, didn't we? Some of us are still celebrating Chinese New Year's. In New Year's, there are all these promises to ourselves. There are all these goals to ourselves. So your first G of 1G is goals. Thinking about the goals that you have. Think about the goal of maybe making more money, maybe getting out and exercising. I know I need it. How many of you decided, hey, this year I'm going to lose weight? I won't ask you to raise your hand. Maybe you said, Abdul's already like, oh my gosh, I already blew it. Or how about this year I'm going to talk to my parents more? Anna, you? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to set a goal of making new friends. Michael, worthy goal, especially as president. But sometimes we don't do the things we want to do, right? And so we have to have conversations with ourselves. Maybe we have to find that Superman within us. You have to ask yourself, am I Superman or am I Clark Kent? You know, Clark Kent, the alter ego of Superman. I'm just Clark Kent, when really I want to be Superman. How many of us are winning that conversation with ourselves? How many of us really see ourselves in that way? Exhibit A, are you as strong as you want to be? Are you coming to Toastmasters like you said you would? I know I'm probably speaking to the wrong crowd because you're here and other people aren't. But these are the conversations we have to have with ourselves, right? The promises that we make to ourselves to say, I'm going to get up off the sofa now. I'm going to get out of my chair and I'm going to go out and I'm going to go work out. Do a little exercise. This is what we got to do, Ravindan. This is what we got to do, no matter how bad our knees are. We got to go do that. That's the 1G. The 2G is exactly that. Two people. When's the last time you got in an argument with someone? When's the last time you needed to say something kind? And so the 2G is gratitude, how we are kind to each other, how we are grateful for each other. Because I think sometimes communication between two people fails because we fail to see how the other person has positively impacted our lives. Yes, Ravindran, this also includes your mother-in-law. Did I just out you, man? Did I just get you in trouble? Hey, come on. Apri, do you know what I'm talking about? The mother-in-law? It's okay. One day you just might learn. In that case, you better have Ravindran on speed dial. Speed dial, there's an old word. Right, Elios? Speed dial. Now everybody's speed dial, except your mother-in-law. So, how do we get everybody on speed dial? How do we get to where we're having the kinds of conversations one-on-one with people that we need to have the conversations with? Is love only between romantic kind of love? How about the love we might have for a parent? How about the love we have for a co-worker where we are kind to them? Or even the relationship of working with somebody at work, our bosses, people to share ideas with. Are we really communicating the way we need to communicate? Everybody says that they come to Toastmasters to learn how to speak, public speaking. Well, isn't this public speaking? Are we doing enough of this in Toastmasters? Learning how to be cordial to each other. Sometimes I think the best place to do this is evaluations. How we are grateful to each other for the speeches that we give and being able to elicit the best out of people. Being able to bring the best out of others. How do we bring the best out of others? Maybe we need to do this as mentors. Are we really being the mentors that we could be? Our 3G oftentimes happens when we are working with a group of people, maybe as officers, right, Mr. President? When we are working with officers, how do we get them not just to work with us, but how do we get them to work with each other? That's sometimes the hardest part, isn't it? Some of us are very good at getting others to work with us, but how do I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you to work together so that we are a strong team? And I think oftentimes this takes growth mindset, doesn't it? It takes a growth mindset. How do we grow together? And that's the 3rd G, growth. How do we work with each other? How do we inspire people to work together? How do we find solutions working together? How do we get A, B, C to work together to produce 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 23, 30, 50, boom, explosion of ideas, explosion of teamwork, because we're able to communicate together, get them to work together, inspire teamwork. I don't know if you've ever done this activity right here, but it's a very simple activity. All you have to do is lower this pipe to the ground. Now, let me tell you something. This pipe, it's very light. It's PVC pipe, almost like a hula hoop. And I have them put the pipe on their top of their fingers, and they all have to lower it to the ground. Has anybody ever done this with a group? It's a simple team building exercise. Anybody? What happens is, oh, good. I'm glad I raised my hand. All right. So I had them try to lower it to the ground together, and they can't separate it from their fingers. They can't separate. And every time they do, they got to start over again. And what happens is, as you lower it, the pipe actually starts to go up. It goes up. It goes up. And everybody's like, go down, go down. You need to go down. There are people yelling at each other. I've had PhDs yelling at each other, go down. Lack of trust, lack of faith in each other. Hard to build teams. In Toastmasters, I think we need to develop this a little bit more with each other in the clubs. This we can do. It's not just for officers. It's a group of mentors working together. It's a VPM team. This is what we can do. We move forward to 4G as we've moved from 1 to 2 to 7 to 30. And I think this is the one that most people think about when they think of Toastmasters. They think of this guy. I'm the leader, right? Where leaders are made. I'm the leader in front of this group of people. I'm this guy. I'm trying to get all these people to work with me. All of these people. I've got 30 people in front of me, and I'm trying to get them to work all in the same direction. I'm trying to motivate them. I'm the manager. I'm the leader. As a teacher myself, this is the first thing that we do. How to get a classroom of kids to do what they're supposed to do. You're trying to get a classroom full of kids to do what they're supposed to do when they don't want to do it. Everybody looks at me and goes, oh, you're a theater teacher. That should be fun. Are you kidding me? Kids don't want to get up in front of each other. They don't even want to turn on their cameras on asynchronous learning. It's hard to be that guy. But we have to work. We have to take questions and answers from all around us as we lead forward. The strategies we use have to be varied, and they have to reach out to our different team members, all to face one direction, whether that's to face you or whether that's to face north. Can anybody see me? All you can see is the top of my head, isn't it? Like a talking potato. So the idea is we have to get people all going in the right direction. That's what people tend to think of. The next is the 5G. When we talk about 5G, I'm talking about global. I'm talking about making your voice heard beyond the room. Oftentimes, people in Toastmasters think about talking to a room full of people. But what happens when you're talking to people outside the room? What happens when our voice has to carry farther? I'm not talking about yelling often. I'm talking about speaking in a way that we are heard by a universal audience. To do that, we have to find a universal point of truth. A universal point of truth where everyone can connect. I learned this lesson in the speech contest. You move your way up to where you're at the World Championship of Public Speaking. You have an audience from around the globe. You have to make a point that all these different nationalities understand and say, yes, I agree with you. All these different cultures, all these different countries, males, females, younger, older, you name the color of the skin and you name the haircut, they all have to agree with you. We have to be able to stand our ground as speakers and say, this is the line I draw, this is where I want you to act, This is where I think you can do better. And we have to be able to throw the window up. We have to throw the window open. We're going to do that right now. Stay with me. Here we go. That's right. This is what we're going to do right now. We're going to go out there and we are going to find out just how much we can grow. We have to, as speakers, be able to say, hello, world. Hello, world. There it is. The city outside my window. That's what we have to be able to say. Hello, I'm here and I have an opinion. And maybe your opinion is as simple as women, all women should be treated the same as men. Maybe your opinion should be as simple as all countries should put children first. You decide. You decide what's important, Anna. You decide what's important, Zoe. Evelyn, you have to decide what is it that you're going to stand your ground on and say, I believe this is the truth. I believe this is what I'm here to say. Now, this isn't always easy, my friends. This is not always easy. We have to be able to have the conversation with ourselves. And now we're right back to 1G, aren't we? We have to be able to have the conversation with ourselves. We are right back to 1G. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then now we're back to 1. You see, because when you are thinking about global things, you have the world in the palm of your hands, Michael. You have the world in all its technological advances. But even with all the technological advances, it all comes back to you as an individual. If you want to change the world, you got to start by making your bed. This was a very famous speech by an ex-US Navy SEAL. He was the commandant of the Navy SEALs, and he gave a speech at my alma mater, the University of Texas at Austin. And he said, if you can't even make your bed, if you can't make that simple little thing happen every single day, that self-discipline, then how are you going to change the world? We got to start with ourselves. We got to start with the man or woman in the mirror, Abdul. We got to start with the man or the woman in the mirror. We all know this lady, don't we? We all know Mother Teresa in India. If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. This includes your mother-in-law. Jim, I know you can hear me. You're always there with me, man. This includes our mother-in-law, Andrea. We have to start with ourselves. If you want to change the world, then you have to start with yourself. So what's your next big idea? What's your next big idea? What is your next big idea? And let's take that idea, you and me, all of us in Toastmasters, your club, your division, and let's start spreading that word. Let's find the truth that's there, whether it's at the 1G level, the 2G level, the 3G, the 4G, the 5G level, and share it with the world. There's a whole lot of world out there. And we are on the widest road we've ever had in all of humanity. Not all of technology, but all of humanity. Because it's going to take our humanity to spread that 5G network. Are you with me? Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Wow. So inspiring educational session we have today. The 5G goals, gratitude, growth, greatness, global, and what I like the most is start from yourself. Let's give a round of applause to our educational speaker, Fursey Gotuaco. Wow, so amazing.
believe I left time for Q&A if you'd like.
All
Or
right.
not.
If Q&A, yeah, we have time for Q&A for anybody. We will have about some time to have Q&A. Feel free to raise your hand or just shout out, please. Okay,
We have
we have
two.
Toastmaster Anna Milana, please.
Thank you, Alvin. And what a great speech. Toastmasters per se. This is the first time I did a speech like that. My question actually is not related with the speech, but I wonder how you manage the video and the PowerPoint side by side like that. What feature did you use? Thank you.
Prezi Video. You want to use an app called Prezi Video, and now on Zoom, it puts it over there to the side, right? Over on your side, a little apps. At Prezi Video, it's a purple one with a little camera, and it looks like a white sun on a purple background. And so you can create PowerPoints right here, or even use it on your whole background.
Would
Very
you
simple.
mind to please type it in the chat? Oh, Prezi Video. Okay, I get it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm
right there on
very
your screen.
curious from the start. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm Angela.
Me?
I have a question.
Yes, Angela Lansbury.
Can
Saldani
you-
translator.
Can you tell me about your gestures? At what point do you put the gestures in? Do they come naturally, and do you record yourself, or do you mark them in your text? How do they get there?
That's a great question, Angela. Thank you very much for the question. Gestures to me come naturally. I have a theater background, so I've been doing it as part of my formative education. I've also been doing it all through my life. I just happen to notice it, and so can you. That's really the first place to start. People ask me, where do I start? Watch people. If you watch people when they don't think they're being watched, they're using their hands all the time. Watch people at the other table while you're eating. They're doing this and that, and so they're doing all kinds of stuff. So I suggest watching, but also attend one of my workshops and I'll tell you all about different gestures that you can use.
Thank
Like,
you.
this is negative space, this is positive space. Don't forget the gesture behind you. That's all kinds of good stuff. Speaking of which, I do give a lot of feedback on things. If you want to join one of the WhatsApp group that I'm in, I think Elios is part of one of them. I put it in the chat group, but I have several different groups where we do table topics all the time, and I give a lot of feedback, and it's a great place to go for ideas. So I will send it in the chat. Any other questions I can answer for you?
Yeah, this is Jay, and I really liked the way you narrated everything about the 5G. But I have one question, that why so much rant against mother-in-law?
You ever had one, man? Have you ever had a mother-in-law? Hey, I've had a mother-in-law, and I actually did a very good job at making my mother-in-law like me, because I knew that if mother-in-law ain't happy, then my wife wouldn't be happy. So you've got to take care of business. You know, I have been doing workshops across the world, mostly on Zoom. I've been doing workshops across the world on Zoom, and I'll tell you what, there are 3 universal truths, all right? There are 3 things that everybody agrees on. 1, math, the universal language, math. The second one, music. Everybody understands music. And the third one, mother-in-laws.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Good evening to all. This is Naisara.
Hello, namaste, sir. You are
Yes,
explained
go.
very beautifully. You are explained 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. What are the things are there? Here explain very briefly. 1G, you and me. Say 2G, gathering ABCD. Individually you are doing work and connected to work, teamwork. 3G, teamwork. 4G, Toastmaster leader. Leader, how to control the people. Fourth one is the globe. How to manage the things for all things in front of all things are available. How to manage it. You are explain everything. I feel very happy, sir. Goals, gratitude, growth, gathering, global. And universal truth, for 3 universal truth, every person is liking. Mostly music, lesson, everything. I feel very happy, sir. I listen.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. I'm glad. Did anybody else take notes the way he did? I wish all of you could be as good as him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Oh, hello, Fursey. Can I add something?
Helios, yes.
Yeah, okay. So my question is just a simple one. Why do you choose Toastmaster as your networking community, or you have another option in other organization, and why Toastmasters? Just simple one. Thank you, Fursey.
I think you do as many as you can. I think you become part of as many different networks as you want and as you can. Obviously, many of you will have professional organizations. I think one of the great things about Toastmasters is anybody can do it. You don't have to have an expertise. Anybody can come in here and learn. Anybody can come in here and mentor. Anybody can come in here and be successful as long as they're willing to try. And the fact that we are positive by philosophy is fantastic. I love being part of a positive organization. I want to thank you all for having me in your home tonight. I appreciate you bringing me into your meeting. I'm very grateful for that. I hope that what I've given you is something that you can use in your real life, because everything has to be usable outside of Toastmasters, right? Everything that we do in Toastmasters has to help you outside of Toastmasters. Otherwise, we haven't done our job. So I hope that there's something here tonight that you can take with you and use tomorrow outside of Toastmasters. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all having me. I now have some cats I have to take care of, or they're going to be very, very angry. Thank you. Good night. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fursey Gotuaco, for very fruitful session for today. And next, we will have our certificate to present to Toastmaster Fursey. Please, Toastmaster Yana, to share the certificate, please. Right, and please spotlight the Toastmaster Fursey. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to Empire Toastmasters. I will capture this 2 times. First one, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then one more time, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Fursey Gotuaco, for very fruitful session for tonight. Hopefully everybody can be inspired after this session and can wait to see your action after hearing to Toastmaster Fursey speech today. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Fursey. And now let's proceed to our next agenda. We will have table topic session. And what is table topic session? Not me will explain it. Will explain by our table topic master, Toastmaster Evelyn Young. Over to you, Toastmaster Evelyn.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes one of the most exciting session of regular Toastmaster meeting, which is the impromptu speech session, in which every speaker gets 2 minutes to answer my question. Without further ado, let's start. One's most powerful asset is networking, said our Toastmaster of the day. Speak in a way that allows our voice to be heard globally across a universe of networks, said our educational speaker. Then my question is, what are we going to do to achieve this? What are we going to do to have this most powerful asset? What are we going to do to allow our voice heard across the universe? Let's talk about it. When I saw today's meeting theme, I was thinking what networking really means and what I should expect from networking. Can anyone here help me answer this question? What networking means to you and what do you expect from it? Any volunteer? No? So shall I invite Toastmaster Yana to answer the question? What networking means to you and what do you expect from it? The stage is yours.
Thank you, TM Erflin. What networking means for me is to create something new from your life. In my opinion, I just love how to create something over new people and I get benefit from them. Even though I'm such a shy girl before and now I become shameless, I think, because everyone here is just very fun to talk with. So networking actually not just something I should be afraid, but it's more like how I push myself to be braver than before. Also, when you create networking, it means you also one step closer to your goals. You have purpose, you need to create the networking, you need to build a relationship with other people related to your goals. And it means you do something to expect something great for your future, maybe your goals. In all conclusion, I think networking is something precious for me and something I would never give up my life to let it go. Back to you, our table topic master.
Great insight, Toastmaster Yana. So according to Toastmaster Yana, networking is creating new things. It's being innovative, is innovation. Then I'm wondering, how can innovation benefit your relationship? Anyone can answer this question? How can innovation, being innovative,
Good evening.
beneficial? How can being innovative beneficial to your relationship?
Good
Any
evening.
volunteer here?
Good evening, madam. This
Mr.
is Nageshwara. Nageshwara. Networking. Actually, you are telling information. You explain the what is the universe, what housekeeping and networking. You are given 3 questions. What networking you are asking that question. Actually, you are talking that word. It is sharing to all entire world. The sharing is very most important. Any information is sharing very most important. That networking is doing now. Sorry, before class is telling what is 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G. You and me, 1G. 2G is the gratitude. 3 is the growth. 4 is the gathering. And 5 is the global. It is working in globally. Any information is easy to transferring through networking only. Yeah, I don't know actually where you are. I am in Visakhapatnam. You are speaking to any country or outside of the country. Easy to transfer the information to all people and all entire world. The networking is very most important. Now, Some of the people is using properly, some of the people are using that networking means gathering the people, share the information to all, very easy. That is, thank you, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Nagesoran. You said sharing is an important element of networking. I totally agree with that. And some other people said networking is an art, while other people said networking is a science. What do you think? What do you think, Angela? Some people said networking is an art, other people said it's a science. What's your opinion on this?
Thank you. First of all, we have to define what is art and what is science. I would say science is like a list. You work through something methodically. Art is more creative and you just play it by ear, and if something comes along, you do it and you suddenly do something new, or you do things randomly. So networking is a bit of each. The problem is most people go out networking and they don't plan it properly. But if you go to something that in England is called BNI, Breakfast Networking International, what you do is every person is given 2 minutes to talk about themselves, and you promote yourself and your business. And then at the end of the meeting, they list each person and they ask how many people you have introduced to another business during the week. So they are very scientific about their networking and what they hope to gain. Whereas the other thing you can do is just go along and see who turns up. But they don't just see who turns up. They plan a meeting so that one person from every different profession, so that you never have two people competing. Another way of networking is to go to a group which has something in common with you, so that you're all learning from each other. Now, some Toastmasters groups are random groups and others are focused. You might have a university Toastmasters group, or the Toastmasters group for young people and students or cadets, or Toastmasters could be all retired people. So you might have a focused networking group, or you just could be creative, turn up at every meeting you can, see who you meet and do what they ask you to do. So it's a bit of both. But if you're not doing the scientific part, maybe perhaps that's the bit you should add. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angela. I love your answer. Yeah, I agree with you that networking could be both art and science. When we get an either-or question, we don't have necessarily choose one of them. A lot of things, we can have a lot of things at the same time, both of them. The next question is actually one of the most important, one of the most interesting question I have for networking. That is, how would you coordinate between different relationships you have in your life? Let me see. E.T., are you interested in answering this question? How would you coordinate different relationships in your life?
Wait. Okay, am I audible and visible? So I can start? Yes, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, coordination. It means that you have different people come to your life. Either they are come one by one, or they are coming in a pack, like wolf. And yes, or like a chicken crossing the road. Or even another animals that they have a group to come to your life. So how you coordinate with these animals? Oh no, with these people, of course. People have the same mind, the same passion, or even the same hobby that can make them relate. That's why the relationship happen when the ship sails between the people. When we share the same interests, when we coordinate that, oh, Evelyn, I'm a public speaker and you're a great evaluator. Please evaluate me. That's how we can coordinate with other people. Or even you are a great evaluator and you see a great speaker, right? TTM Rafin and TM Kayo. You will reach out to them. Hello, sir. Your speech today is so wonderful. How we can coordinate to help your speech better. And that's how Toastmasters is so beautiful. When you foster this relationship with your friend in Toastmasters or even outside of Toastmasters, you apply what you learn from Toastmasters and put it on your real life. It means that the coordination here, the red thread, is you. You are the missing bridge. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are the missing piece in my life. Back to you, Evelyn.
Thank you, E.T. So when E.T. said that coordination is necessary when we have different kinds of people coming into our lives, I got a question in mind. What should we do to connect with or to bond with friends that are much, much older than us that share different worldview with us? What should we do to connect with or to bond with people who are much older than us, who share different worldview with us? Shall I invite Miss Carla Andrea to answer this question? Miss Carla, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't see you, but I can hear you very clearly.
Excellent. Worldview. We all have different mindset and perspective on worldview. In Toastmasters, I have friends from around the world: Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Jamaica, just to name a few. And our worldview are all different. For example, the way how we would view domestic violence in Guyana might be different from how Arnie may view it in her country, or Elios in his country. Today, domestic violence has taken the world by storm. And it seems as though no one even cares about what happened to our women folks. The frightening thing is that although your perspective or mindset on worldview is different, I respect that. But remember, that woman could be your sister. That woman can be your mother. So regardless of your worldview, let us not get into an argument that your country is better than mine or Elio's country is better than Arnie's country. Remember, even though our worldview are different, we are all human beings and share the different opinions. I want to encourage you, regardless of your worldview, make a difference in your country, wherever you are. In Toastmasters, you all have different worldview. But hey, guess what? When we come together as one, as a family, united to change your opinion. But remember, your worldview remains the same. Table topic master, over to you.
Thank you, Carla. That was very insightful. I love your point on there is always a way to bridge the gap between people with different worldviews. Sometimes we succeed, but sometimes we fail. And next question is, what would you do if you have a failed relationship, and what kind of lesson do you learn from a failed relationship? Let me see. Let me pick
Can I take this
someone. What about
Ravi?
Toastmaster Retno Prasetyo?
Yeah. Hi, good evening, Miss Evelyn Young. Thank you. Is welcome and introduction. My name is Ratna Prasetya. I'm Aldo's younger brother, and I'm student at the Balikpapan Foreign Language Academy campus. And I just joined Toastmaster, and I'm very happy. And because of this, it can add to my insight in the public speaking. And sorry, my English is still lacking. And first time enjoying the meeting, Toastmaster. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Retno. That's fine. Maybe the question was too difficult for you. That's really okay. Shall I throw this question to another Toastmaster? Is that possible?
Yes, can I take it up, please, Ravindran?
Of course, of
All right.
course.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Ravindran.
Thank you. If I can recollect, the topic was how do you mend or repair a failed relationship? How do you communicate or something of that sort? Yeah. So because this question was raised earlier, correct me if I'm not on the ball. Now, I, at my stage of life, obviously I've gone through a couple of failed relationships. But I won't use the word failed in that real sense because it has a negative connotation. I've become a wiser man as a result. I now know what works and what does not work. So the next time I come across a similar situation, I know how to handle it. I know how to react. I know how to meander around it, if I can use that word. So I become wiser. I had to go through a divorce, which I like to share with you, through no fault of mine. Communication was there. I was surprised when it came to that stage. I was forced into a divorce. But the learning lesson is still water runs deep. On the surface, it looks all okay, so calm and so nice, but you don't know what's seething below. Then pop, opens the window and you see it's already time for us to go separate ways. But that's life. Sometimes you're lucky, like the way my parents' time, they were through thick and thin. They raised 8 wonderful children, and they parted together as a married couple, of course. But nowadays, relationships come, it's fast, it moves as fast as the word globalization comes about. Things are moving so fast. We meet somebody for a short while, then he moves on and moves on. So what the future holds for relationships and communications, I don't know. But we'll take it and hold the bull by its horns as it comes. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ravindran. I love the point that you raised. One point that you raised is that when you know what works and what doesn't, and next time you'll do better. Why do we have failed relationship? Of course, we have a successful one. To round up this table topic session, I would love someone to tell us their successful story, their successful relationship story. Let me see. Is Toastmaster Titin there?
Good evening, madam. This is Nageswara. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. The relation between students and teacher, the relation between family, father, mother, and family members, the relation between Toastmaster team and me, all persons relationship. It can maintain beautifully. For example, today Toastmaster class is there. Toastmaster complete team. That information is coordinated to all people through network only. Okay, you are telling network how to work networking and everything is telling. That's why.
Thank you, Mr. Nageswara. I see that.
I speak to English fluently in our team, our relation only. Toastmaster team and outside team also. I learn that things only. That is only. Good evening, madam. Thank you.
Thank you. So our table topic session would end at 8:30. We still have 5 minutes. Let me invite the very, very last speaker. I would invite maybe April. April was mentioned a couple of times during this meeting, but I haven't heard him speaking. Would you be able to share a story on your successful relationship to round up this whole meeting? To round up this whole table topic session.
It's me. Okay. So I think the most successful story that I ever experienced in my life is that when I was in junior school, where I have a friend that I really connected with. So usually after school, we play together with my friend to play video game. And at that time, play video game is one of my favorite things to spare my time most of the time. And the bad thing is I don't have any money to play video game, because at that time I go to rental to play video game. And fortunately enough, my friend is rich, so he usually invite me to play together. And I think that's a really nice thing that I ever in my life, because having a good relationship, especially with close friend, is really wonderful. And when I become adult, it's really hard to get a good relationship and get better friends, because I just spend most of my time in work, and it's really hard to make a better connection again, and to find and meet a really good friend. And yeah, one of the best memory, especially in my relationship, is when I have a really good friend when I was in junior school, and I see really best things I experienced in my life until now. I think that's all for my question. Back to Table Topic Master.
Thank you, GM Afri. Wow, I think every single speech, every single table topic speech today is useful, and every single speaker offered us their tips and tricks to build quality networks. I hope that after listening to their speeches, we are better. We can become a better speaker, better people that would be able to build effective networks. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster of the Day, Alvin. Shall we invite another speaker, maybe?
I think we already have enough. All right. Thank you, our Madam Table Topic Master. Can you hear me? Yeah. Toastmaster Evelyn. And may we have our timer report, please, Toastmaster Arni?
Thank you, Toastmaster Alvin. Speakers except for guest Retno are eligible to be voted. I'm sorry, guest Retno, next time you can reset that. I put the detail on the chat box, Toastmaster Alvin. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Arni. So please use your vote, guys, by using link in the chat box that is already posted by our ball counter, Toastmaster Apri. Now let's move on to our next session, evaluation session, will be led by our GE Toastmaster Rani from Maranatha. Over to you, Toastmaster Rani.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Alvin. So now we are moving to the heart of the meeting, which is the evaluation session. So the evaluation session will be started with the evaluation from our two evaluators for the prepared speech speakers. And I will call our first evaluator is Distinguished Toastmaster Harlina that will be evaluating Distinguished Toastmaster Ravindran's speech. So for Distinguished Toastmaster Harlina, I will give you the screen 2 to 3 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. For this evaluation, I have actually focused more on the storytelling. And I felt that the stories that Distinguished Toastmaster Ravindran has told us really touched my heart. The story about the toast that was very adorable. The story about what happened with the lottery. Well. That also was very nice story. I think why did it touch my heart first? Because the vocal variety, I really love the vocal variety. For example, when you said, and I started to take it for granted. At the time, you all of a sudden lowered your voice and you spoke slower, and I thought like, oh, this sentence, this part of the sentence is very important. You really caught my attention with that one. I also like your hand gestures. They're not too distractive. They're just on point. Well done. I think you can make it a little bit more dramatic. Remember when the mother was very happy to discover that she won? Oh my goodness, oh wow. I don't know. Or you could show facial expressions in which you maybe panicked because you were caught red-handed. So for those important moments, you can actually dramatize a bit more your facial expressions. And I really think that the stories really convey a very important message, but I'm not sure whether the message is about taking for granted. I think the message of the speech is more like lying is a longer way to the truth, because you got caught red-handed in the end anyway, or because you had to go to the bank and you had to get a really big amount of money. Maybe you can say something like, there's nothing like a free lie. You know, like reference, there's nothing like a free lunch. There's nothing like a free lie. Every lie has a price. This time it is 14,000 ringgit. I don't know what will be the price next time. Will it be a relationship? Sorry for that. Is it a relationship or what? So be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, when you start with a lie, and then you can add something in which you can make it appeal to the audience, or you can make the audience think. I think the stories are very touching, at least to me. What I really also like is the language that you used. Whoa, so many idioms, yeah. Going down the rabbit hole, the Statue of Liberty without the statue, without the liberty, crying over spilled milk, very beautiful. And what I also like is the descriptive language, not smelling sweet. Really speaks to my senses. So thank you for your stories. It really touched my heart. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Harlina, for your evaluation of Distinguished Toastmaster Ravindra's speech. And now we will move to our second evaluator. It's Toastmaster Anna Meliana, who will be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Abdul Qayyum. So Toastmaster Anna Meliana, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Madam GE. My fellow Toastmasters, as we all expected, always great speeches from Toastmasters Qayyum. And how amazing that silence can be a great opening. Qayyum, you applied appropriate pauses when you shift from one section to another section. Great job on that. And another thing I love about your speech is that you are a great singer. We all know that. And it is a great and smart move to include it in your speech. And you did a lovely closing by asking audience to take a break. What to be improved? Yet you asked me for a hardcore evaluation. So here is from my personal perspective. First, your voice were a little bit cracking in the beginning. So it will be better if you do check and recheck the audio before you start your speech. You perform good vocal variety in showing your emotion. And I expect you can use that vocal variety as well to be more descriptive. For example, when you say the wind whooshing, whoosh, the whoosh should be softer and intense, like whoosh. Okay, and the second part is a short section when you describe about you entering home or something like that. I can say that I can understand the point of your speech, but I cannot reply the event in my mind. What I can suggest is to add more variety on your vocal tone, or if you cannot do that, you can add a little bit of analog in the desk to enhance the descriptive part. So Qayyum, always great speech. In conclusion, I can say that your delivery was very well practiced and coordinated, but not quite passionate and not quite loud. It was very neat and tidy, that your emotion was half clogged. Then you may practice on your storytelling techniques, and I'm looking forward to hear your next speech. Back to you, GE.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Anna Meliana, for your evaluation. So now we have heard from both our evaluators. I believe that those evaluations are not only applicable for Distinguished Toastmaster Ravindran and Toastmaster Qayyum, but also for us, the other listeners as well. So may I now have our timer report, please? Are the two evaluators eligible to be voted?
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Rani. Both evaluators are eligible to be voted. I put the details on the chat box. Just please.
Okay, great. Thank you, Toastmaster Arni. And now I have noticed that Toastmaster Apri also already put the voting link on the chat box. So everyone now please go check the chat box and vote for the best evaluator. It is Distinguished Toastmaster Hardiana or Toastmaster Anna Melia. And while we are voting, maybe we can just move on to our technical evaluators. I will consist of our grammarian and our INWOD content. So for first, I will call upon our grammarian, Toastmaster Angela. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
We will be waiting for your report.
Thank you very much. Well, the good news, my dear friends, is that the word of the day was used many, many times. We started by hearing it from Toastmaster Apri, and I was very impressed with the way it was used by the Table Topics Master Ellen in the questions. Now let me tell you some of the other things which I liked very much in addition to the use of the word of the day. I particularly like the first speaker's use of phrases like think of the Titanic and eating so much salt. And I like the phrase from the second speaker, urban farmer, and like a farmer, which is a simile. Like or as means the same or a simile. Let me point out something else which is neither good nor bad, but which is very interesting, which is our educational speaker said Toastmasters, which is an Americanism, whereas I, being British, would say Toastmasters. And another Americanism that you might have noticed was that our speaker said oftentimes, whereas a British person would have said often. Other phrases I liked like a talking potato. I haven't heard that one before. I thought that was most amusing. Other things which I liked were the phrase, if mother-in-law ain't happy, the wife ain't happy. Ain't, of course, is not correct English, not standard English, but it's a phrase used in that a sentence used in that phrase. Now, some quick tips for you. First of all, pronunciation. Audio and audience, not audio, not audience, audio and audience. Can you all say audio and audience?
Audio.
And
Audio.
audience.
Audience.
Audience. The other one similarly is not pauses, but pauses. So all say pauses. Pauses.
Pauses.
Pauses. Thank you. Now, I've many more things that I could say, but I've only got 5 minutes, and I think 5 minutes is almost up. So I'll just give you 2 more things of praise. I like the way in this club, everyone is addressed as Toastmaster so-and-so. That's very good. It gives everybody great status. And if you can't remember whether they are Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or what their title is, you can just call them Toastmaster. That's very clever, very useful. And finally, I heard evaluators say that a speech was well coordinated. The final use of word of the day. Thank you, everybody, for coordinating everything, and back to our coordinator, GE Rani.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. So for your detailed observation and also report. And now, lastly, I will call for our accounter. It's our Mr. President, Toastmaster Michael. Please share with us your observation.
Thank you, Madam GE. Let me share my screen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my findings about the counter or post filler. Congratulations for the green highlight for no filler words. For the yellow and red highlights, now you know the area for you to improve for your next speech. Keep it up and always be better. Thank you, and back to you, Madam G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Michael, for the report. It was simple but neat. So the result is known by our other audience. So I think it's now time for me to give the report of my observation as the general evaluator. So first of all, in general, I love how Empire meeting is always looks so professional, and it starts with the good songs accompanying us in the beginning of the meeting, and also then AA greets us cheerfully and also letting us know the house rule, not only in the beginning of the meeting, but also in the chat box during the meeting for the guests, maybe that is joined us. And I love how the meeting agenda and link are also provided a day before the meeting started. However, I think there are maybe some role takers that have not yet the updated agenda. That is why there were some confusion on the WOD. Was it relationship or was it coordinated? So maybe next time for the EXCO, please try to make sure that all the role takers have the updated agenda. Or for easier, maybe you can just share it in the chat box before the meeting started or during the meeting. And next for the edu session, I totally love how the topic is really nice and it is applicable not only in Toastmaster but also in real life. And I also love how lovely the Q&A session is. Many audience are asking questions. And then move on to the evaluation for the Toastmaster of the meeting. So Toastmaster Alvin opened the meeting and explained the agenda of the meeting with PowerPoint so that it will make it easier for the audience to grasp what will be conducted in the next few hours. And he also gave good feedbacks after the prepared speakers and their speech. That's good to conclude the speech from each speakers. My suggestion for our Tom is, we noticed that you introduce our edu session speaker in the beginning of the meeting. However, since our edu session speaker are not an ordinary speaker, maybe before the edu session, you can repeat the introduction again or give more detailed information about who the edu session speaker is. So those who just come can also notice who Toastmaster, who the edu session speaker is. And next is for our table topic masters. I love how unique you throw the table topic questions. It feels like we are all engaged in one big conversation, like continuing from one speaker to the second one. And even though you present your question without PowerPoint, but you deliver the topic clearly, so there's not much confusion. And thank you for handling the session well during some hard situation, maybe. But my only suggestion is that some participants are already volunteering themselves as speakers, maybe in the beginning of the session. However, you did not notice them. It will be better if you can also check the chat box if some of them are saying that they want to be the table topic speaker, or if they are raising their hands before you call for the next table topic speaker. And then for the evaluator, I don't have anything for them to improve, because since both of the speakers are already the speakers with a lot of experience, but distinguished Toastmaster Harliana and Toastmaster Anna find some things to challenge for them or to be improved. And next for our timer, I like how our timer raised the hand during the speaker so that the speaker can notice how many time they have left, and also she kept the details of the timing right in the chat box right after the session end. My only problem here is that I think your voice is quite not clear. Maybe so before you try to deliver you try speaking, please check your microphone first. And then lastly, for our grammarian, I love how detailed you give your report. It consists of the use of WOD, grammatical error, beautiful phrases, and also the wrong pronunciation. And you also engage us to pronounce the right word correctly. My only suggestion is that maybe next time you can share your report on PowerPoint or your on Excel for the audience to make it easily understand for them. I think that's all. And for our INWOD counter, no evaluation because you already did well. Thank you, Empire Toastmaster, for inviting me today. And now I will give the control back to our Toastmaster of the meeting, Toastmaster Alvin.
Yay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Rani, our GE. That's the point taken from her team, that not how we can improve on the next session. Now let's hear from ballot counter, who will be the best prepared speech speaker, the best table topic speaker, and the best evaluator. Let's hear it from our ballot counter, Toastmaster Apri. Over to you.
All right, thank you, our Toastmaster meeting. And now it's time for the awaiting session for all of us to know who is the most favorite speaker, table topic, and evaluator for tonight's meeting. And in order to do that, I need to help from Toastmaster Yana to share the screen so we can start the announcement.
Okay.
Toastmaster Hana, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready to announce?
Sure. So in the first announcement will be, or the most favorite speaker for tonight goes to Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Ravendran.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll take picture. Okay. We'll take picture in 3, 2, 1. All right. Congratulations, distinguished Toastmaster Ravendran. And the next is for the most favorite table topic speaker for tonight goes to Toastmaster Ilios.
Wow, thank you. I'm surprised.
Okay.
Should take
We'll take
the
picture in 3, 2, 1. Okay. And last but not least, we have the most favorite evaluator for tonight. Goes to Toastmaster Anna Meliana. Congratulations. I will take picture in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, everyone.
Things that all for my role for tonight, and congratulations to our speaker. Back to Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Apri, and once again, congratulations for the best prepared speech speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Ravi, the best table topic, Toastmaster Ilios, and our best evaluator, Toastmaster Anna. And that's all for our session for tonight. Hope you can benefit a lot for today, and see you again in the next meeting. I will adjourn. I will give the control back to our president, Toastmaster Michael. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alvin. Well, guys, what do you think about our meeting? I hope our meeting can give you some insight about public speaking for sure. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, for coming to our meeting. To ensure that you guys have the latest information about our next meeting, please like and follow our social media such as Instagram and Facebook, Empire Toastmasters Club. Now, before I close the meeting, is there anyone who would like to promote their clubs? Yes, Toastmaster Angela.
Thank you. Every Friday evening online, 10 p.m. Singapore time, Singapore International Dynamic meets for an hour, sometimes longer, and our regular visitors are Elios and Titin. So if you'd like to see them and see me and have a lovely time, and it's a small group, so there's usually time for everyone to do a table topic, and some people can get to do 2 table topics. So do come along. If I put my details in the chat box, or if you ask your committee to give my details to you, you can join in the WhatsApp group and be invited every week on Friday. Elios certainly can give you the link, and I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmasters Angela. Anyone else perhaps would like to promote their clubs?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, E.T.
Okay, I'm not going to promote the other the club because it is my club here, my home club, Empire. But I want to promote tomorrow. I will have on-site event on STC in Surabaya. If you are in Surabaya or you have some friends in Surabaya, please do come to support me because I will help you to create humorous bits. And it is not easy to create one because I need to create half of it and then another half for another days. So yes, please feel free to come tomorrow, and yes, let's meet laugh together. Ha ha he ho ho ho. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you, E.T. Anyone else perhaps? If none, then let me close the meeting then. The meeting is always inspired. Thank you for joining Empire. We close in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you and good night. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
The
Bye-bye.
recording stopped.
Thank you, everyone.